Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Killer Film Reviews. This is another remaster of my very first film review, so things are going to be kind of rough. I hope you understand. I didn't really want to mess with too much of the original recording, so I hope. The review is of the film Cry Macho, a recent Clint Eastwood production. So go ahead and I'll let my past self kind of take over here in a little bit. Yeah, the movie, for the non-spoiler, not spoiling it, I'd say overall was decent. Now I'm gonna give you 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 while I talk about the movie. In the movie, we have Clint Eastwood, a ranch hand that's down on his luck. The movie starts out with that sad country song, and then it goes into the actual. And we find him going into work, and his boss is just like, "You're late," and Milo's like, "So what?" And the boss basically fires him, and it turns out that that ranch hand goes back to his house or whatever, and then a year later the boss comes back and says, "I need you to go and get my son." Basically, this is a Clint Eastwood movie where Clint Eastwood goes down to save the son of the ranch master. They go down there and they get the boy, but you run into trouble pretty quick because the mom, who's promiscuous, sits there and tries to stop Clint Eastwood from rescuing the ranch hand son down there. It's a pretty amazing movie with some good soundtracks mixed in here and there. So I think it's a good movie for anybody to enjoy, especially older generations. Otherwise, decent film overall. So Howard, the boss, sends Miko down to go get his son. From Mexico. He runs into the wife, Lita, that is really trying to get Miko to sit there and do adult things with her. But so essentially she gives him information saying, "Oh, my son Raphael is out at the chicken fights," essentially. And then we see Miko go to the chicken fights to go find Raphael. Raphael is having a good time with his chicken, Macho. And they're basically sitting there and trying to sit there and avoid the La Policia, the Federales, right? Basically, the police show up, and then Raphael has to hide. And then he talks to Miko. Miko's basically like, "Yeah, my father sent me to get you." And Raphael's basically all hesitant to go and whatnot. Says, "Does my father really want me?" He says, "Yeah." So he says, "Let me go get my things," and then Raphael just basically disappears. And then Miko can't find Raphael, so he ends up going back to Lita. And then Lita tries to seduce him again, right? And Miko, being the honorable man he is, says no. And then Lita tries to sit there and threaten his boys on him and tells him to leave New Mexico. Tells him to leave Mexico City, I mean. And basically, he tries to leave or whatnot, but then he discovers Raphael's in the back seat with Macho. It's kind of funny. But yeah, it's an engaging movie. There's a lot that goes on in it. So if we're gonna continue on with the plot, basically they go further south. Should I say they try to they go to this diner, right? And then the Raphael orders tequila, and Miko's like, "What? I'm not having you drink that around me, son." And then Raphael basically like storms off. It's caught by one of Letta's men, and they have a little standoff there for a little bit, and then they end up going to this remote town in the middle of nowhere, and Miko ends up sleeping in the shrine of the Virgin Mary or whatever, and Raphael's like, "You can't do that," and Miko's like, "She won't mind." Goes to sleep or whatever, and then they wake up and they run into this town lady, Marta or whatever, and she... I'm getting the plot points mixed up. They meet Marta before they end up inside the Virgin Mary shrine or whatever. They have a quick meal and then they leave, and then they end up at the shrine of the Virgin Mary. Then Marta brought them breakfast or whatever, and then Miko's starting to develop feelings for Marta. Then they start spending time with Marta and her granddaughters, Iha's granddaughters, and do that for a while there's a montage of Miko training Raphael on horse, because there's a bunch of wild horses nearby in the town, so they break the horses for the owner. The owner lets them ride the horses. Breaking in a horse, essentially training it so it's not so wild. That's what it means. And then eventually you have a bunch of townsfolk start coming to Miko, have their animals looked at. There's like this funny moment where they bring like an old dog, and then Miko's like, "I can't repair old age." And then they say, "Just go sleep with your dog at the edge of your bed," or whatever. So the movie really does capture on the themes of age and growing up a bit. Really just, I say it's a film for those that don't mind a little slower paced film. Don't be going into it thinking like, oh, you're gonna have a huge amount of fight scenes and yada yada. It is a good movie. It's a nice story. I'd say a lot of people like it if they're maybe Generation X. I don't think I could see some Generation Millennial or Generation C liking it a bit. Just have to be mindful that they're not going to sit there and have action every 5 minutes. I know the ships I'm playing are Brazilian, but there's not really any Mexican ships in the game right now, so you can't blame me for getting something close. But then they eventually get on the road again, right? Because one of Lydia's henchmen or whatever comes into town or whatever to go looking for Raphael. And then they decide to leave. And get the heck out of Dodge. And then they basically get caught up by the henchman again. The henchman tries to sit there and runs their car off the road. Right. Runs their car off the road. They sit there and they have a little standoff. Macho leaps into action and completely just takes down the guy, which is hilarious. They end up going back on the road again. To sit there and go get to the father, find the father, and then Miko says his goodbyes. Raphael gives him Macho to take care of, and then they make a joke about fried chicken. Macho. And then get this montage of Miko going back down to go see Marta, to go live with Marta, and then it ends by Sabora and Mia playing in the background. But overall, the film is pretty good. Recommend it if you don't mind slower paced films. It's not exactly the... Like, if you had to choose between that film and seeing Shang-Chi, I would see Shang-Chi first, obviously. But since I saw Shang-Chi, I decided to go see Cry Macho because I wanted to sit there and try something different. I'm a sucker for these Western films, seriously. Sometimes they'll get me, sometimes not so much. But overall, the Cry Macho movie is pretty good, and that Sabora Me just really sets the mood. It's a really good song. Makes you feel like you're right there inside the little cafe. Seriously. Obviously, I'm not going to be playing the song over the video because I don't want to get copyright struck here, you know? It's a really catchy tune. And there's different versions of the song. So the version they use in the movie is the one by Eddie Gourmet. That's the version they use. Because there was an earlier version recorded earlier on in the 1970s. But overall, you go see the movie, you're gonna have a good time. I'd say definitely for Generation X or Silent Generation, Generation Y, Generation Z. Maybe. Depends on if they have a taste in westerns or not. I think people can get along with this movie just fine. They just gotta be appreciative of the slower story. We're so used to these fast films these days with action this, action that we forget to appreciate the films that take a little bit more time to build up. Clint Eastwood looked like he was in his 60s in the movie, but reality his age is 91, so who knows how many more films he's going to be putting out there. But you can see that he still has got some talent there, you know? Wouldn't put it past him to make a good movie. He still can, and Cry Macho demonstrates that. Really does. But let me know what you think of this format here. We're gonna keep going this battle, of course, but let me know if you like these movie reviews. I know I'm just trying to break up the monotony of dev blogs and doom and gloom, you know? I'm just trying to sit there and have some fun with the game still. I'm sure I'll have a Rochester review out sometime next week. I'm just gonna do the dev blog videos first, as those are probably more important. If you guys like the video on Anshan, I'm gonna try to mix in some ship reviews here and there. Some tier showcase when I can. But overall, you know, I really enjoyed Cry Macho. Just like I enjoyed Shang-Chi. I already made a video on Shang-Chi and my review on it like a couple weeks ago. So feel free to look around for it on the channel. If you guys want this to be a weekly thing where I review a random movie, let me know. I'm probably gonna stick to films that are more popular in pop culture, I suppose. But it is what it is, you know? Anyway, I hope you liked the video. Please remember to like, watch, and subscribe for future World of Warships and Temple Run 2 videos. Thank you so much for watching my review on Cry Macho.